I don't even identify as a woman, and I'm more of a woman than you.
Boy, the incoherency here is on steroids. Alright, welcome back to another video of me sitting under the excruciating lecture of trans activists and allies. I mean, it is exhausting and mind-numbing, but I put myself through this torture for you. You are the reason why I'm doing this. So please, like, share, and subscribe, and also ring that notification bell so you won't miss my next video. And now that you have done all that, I believe that you have, let's descend into hell and begin this mind-scorching experience.
But I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I am fucking tired of TERFs making a mockery of real women. Oh, what? You were born with ovaries? You bleed every month? You have XX chromosomes? Yeah, that's cute. Tell me what other external factor that doesn't apply to all of you defines you. At the end of the day, you're out here thinking that trans women are making a mockery of you when it's the exact opposite. You are pretending that you know that you are a woman when the only people here who know that for sure are the ones who have put in the work to understand themselves. The trans women. You have put zero work into actually understanding yourself. You are only a woman because everybody else around you looked at the same external factors that you look at and said, seems like woman behavior to me. And you went, all right. The only person making a mockery of womanhood is you because you do not fully understand what makes you a woman. Stop harassing trans women. I don't even identify as a woman, and I'm more of a woman than you. It's okay to be scared of cishet men, but don't take it out on people who aren't even a fucking threat.
Boy, the incoherency here is on steroids. I mean, it should come as a warning at this point that you shouldn't trust the judgment of anyone who commits such atrocity on their hair. I mean, what an eyesore. What an absolute eyesore. That looks like a preschooler's watercolor assignment. And some of their works looks better in comparison. Honestly, it does. So according to Madam Paintbrush for hair over here, it is okay to hate cishet men. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. You know, it is okay to hate cishet men, but don't take it out on trans women. Now, I don't think cishet is a word, but please, don't let me, stop these people from coming up with stupid labels. That's the only thing these dummies know how to produce. But isn't it hypocritical that the community that preaches tolerance and inclusivity is fine with hatred towards so-called cishet men? But I get it. Logical consistency is not these people's stronghold. That is why this person doesn't identify as a woman, right? My guess is she identifies as non-binary, meaning she's neither a man nor a woman. She doesn't fit into this so-called oppressive gender binary. But she claims to be more of a woman than most women. Why is she claiming to reject the gender binary? I mean, that's the mental gymnastics it will take for you to come up with this kind of nonsense is really incredible. Meanwhile, she still can't comprehensively define a woman. The confounding question for this gender-confused community is the simple question, what is a woman? And I'm sure she can't answer that question without using the word woman. Like, none of these so-called trans women can answer that simple question, but they spent their life doing the work to understand that they are women. All that work and no logic to show for it. They still can't tell us what makes them women, other than some undefined assumed emotions. But they are the ones giving womanhood its actual meaning. I mean, how is this not sexist? To claim that confused men becoming women makes womanhood more meaningful, and women who feel insulted as a result are devaluing womanhood. And what is cute is how, she succeeds in conflicting issues. Yes, there's more to a person than their biological features. But that's not a message that actual women don't get. That is a message that the trans community need to hear again and again. There's more to you than your gender identity. It is called a personality and a purpose, which these morons lack tremendously. And yes, there's more to womanhood than biology. But biology is the foundation upon which you build a female identity. But you see, trans people build their gender identity on nothing. Their reasoning makes absolutely no sense. Their claim stands on insanity. A mental illness, and that's what they want to turn womanhood into, a display of mental illness. Now, do you get it? Do you get it now? And in recent history, what these people are pushing for poses a major threat to women. Spaces that belong to women are now getting saturated and dominated by these nutcases. But then again, I'm saying all this, forgetting that these people don't have the ability to think. Not with that hideous hairstyle or hair color, whatever it is that is going on that hair. You need the thinking capacity of a day-old toddler to think that's beautiful. And even that is an insult to toddler. I can hear this toddler screaming and wailing all over the world in protest. And that's on this woman.
Hi. So I did stop by your page really quickly to see that you were 14 years old. You've got so much time to learn and be more open-minded and more kind and accepting towards other people. So let me just really quickly try and tell you why what you're saying is wrong and hurtful. Let's start with only women can give birth. I'm a man, and I'm going to give birth, so you're already wrong there. But there are also lots of other people who are non-binary or intersex, and they give birth. And again, they're not women. Then the term breastfeeding versus chest feeding, well, for some people, it's actually just more comfortable to call it chest feeding. Some women who have experienced trauma or been abused, they might prefer the term chest feeding. But then we loop back around to not all birthing people are women, so not all birthing people have breasts. Hence the term chest feeding. I understand that your opinions and your beliefs may be deep-rooted and ingrained in whatever your parents have taught you to believe, and that's okay. You still have plenty of time to form your own opinions and even educate others in your life.
Oh God, what an absolute moron. And again, the hair, I mean, if stupidity has an image, it would be the face of these people. And what's with the cow nose ring? Like why? This should be a crime against fashion. And if you are one of those people, yes, I'm judging you. I mean, dress how you want to be addressed, for God's sake. If you fancy nose ring, I don't know what else to tell you. These people have ruined that fashion choice. So just choose something else. So people can know that it is safe to have a child in your vicinity. And as for this gender ambiguous fellow that goes by Ian, you have just shown that a 14-year-old is more intelligent than you are. And you're not making an argument. You're just stating meaningless maxims. You made a couple of claims as if they were self-evident, but you first need to make a case for each of those claims. You do. First, you said you are a man who can give birth. Well, I know God can perform miracles, but he's not a magician. And the miracle you need is to come up with a comprehensive definition of a man that supports your claim. For you, a man is anyone who says he's a man, but that's a circular definition. You see, this is like saying a man is a man. What does that mean? Nothing. You can't define a man without using the word man. That is the bind you find yourself in order to support this nonsense that you are espousing. But based on my definition and the definition upheld by every rational human being who have existed all over the world since the creation of time, according to us, if you can give birth, then you are not a man. That's like saying that a monkey can lay eggs. Every sane person knows that any creature that lays an egg is not a monkey. That's probably a chicken or a snake. So you are already wrong there, like you said. Also, non-binary is not a real thing. That's some made-up nonsense. A human being is either a male or a female. Intersex people are a very minute minority. They are the exception. They are like people who may look cute wearing a nose ring. Now, that's a very minute, almost non-existent minority. But that's not the rule. And you can't turn an exception into the rule. Also, your statement about, chest feeding shares the same problem of definition. Which the definition you need to come up with is the definition for a breast. What is a breast? I mean, you probably can't even define that too. But according to sensible people, that's a glandular organ located on the chest. It contains fat and tissues that produce milk, and by definition, only women have breasts and can give birth. Only a woman's chest holds the beautiful mammary gland that produce milk for young infants. Hence the term breastfeeding. The child is not feeding on an empty chest. They are feeding on the breast. Words have meaning. You just can't call things whatever you like because it makes you feel good. You end up confusing people. Like, I'll be confusing people if I describe you with words such as brilliant, sensible, sane, rational, and reasonable. Those words don't exist to describe people like you. They don't. And I would love to be inclusive, but you've excluded yourself. And why is inclusivity so important? Why is it a virtue to include people where they don't belong, even if it requires you to lie to yourself? And do you have the ability to include people when nature has excluded them? You may say, well, at least it makes them feel happy, it makes them feel good. But is that necessarily a good thing? Is anything good as long as it makes someone feel good? I mean, what is good? And I know you've never thought that far ever in your life. But maybe you should start doing that before attempting to confuse a 14-year-old with a more tenuous grasp on objective reality than you. Maybe you should start from there first. Also, carry your madness away from children. You hideous-looking creep. Stop trying to brainwash young, impressionable minds with your pseudo-logic and complete garbage. Stop it.
My question is, are all trans women women? You haven't answered that question.
Well, that's not the point that we're dealing with
That's
here.
the question I'm asking.
Trans women are women, but in the prison context, there is no automatic right for a trans
So
woman.
there are contexts where a trans woman is not a woman.
No, there is there is circumstances in which a trans woman will be housed in the male prison estate.
Is there
because
any
of the
context
nature
in
of
which
the
a
crime.
woman born as a woman will be housed in the male estate?
Look, we're talking here about trans
And I'm
women.
now asking about women born as women.
I don't think there are circumstances there, but
So it's different for trans women.
well, yes, and I'm not.
So they're not equal.
That is not, there is a risk assessment process done for trans women that takes account of the nature of the crime. Clearly, significant concern arises out of sexual crime and whether it's appropriate for them to be in a female prison or a male prison.
That's the First Minister of Scotland. And that is what happens when you choose logical inconsistency. You know, as a rule, avoid a position you can't hold to its farthest logical conclusion. You know, that's how you end up looking as stupid as the Scottish government. Essentially, she's trying to answer the question, why would the Scottish government, why would this government that claim that trans women are women put a trans woman in men's prisons? You know, the man in question is a serial rapist who declared himself a woman while on trial for his crimes. And now he has been convicted as a trans woman. But he's been moved to men's prisons. You know, and why is that? Isn't that transphobic? Isn't this scary looking man a woman? All he needs is a wig and a spandex that shows you that menacing bulge. And you dare not call him a man or treat him as such, right? First Minister here is trying to come up with an exception for this criminal because he's a sex offender. But there are many violent sex offenders in women's prisons. I'm sure they have gruesome murderers in Scottish women prisons. Is Madam First Minister also planning to move those to men's prisons as well? So why is this beautiful, scary woman an exception? The answer is simple. It's so simple, guys. He is an exception because he is a man. Trans women, we are women until this man showed up. And now we all can see just how ridiculous these people look and sound. Now their ridiculousness is inescapable. That's what is happening here. And this is the reason why many of us resist and make mockery of this nonsense. You know, we all know that this creates many problems and allow people to game the system, built upon an obvious lie. And a rational human being can see this coming from 1,000 miles. They can see this coming from like last 20 years. But it's evident that those rational people are not the majority in the Scottish Parliament. You know, that passed a bill way back in December that makes it easy for anyone to legally change their gender in 3 months without a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. A proposed amendment. There was a proposed amendment while this bill was being debated. There was a proposed amendment to exclude men who are violent offenders from legally changing their gender under this new law. But that amendment was rejected on the ground that it was unnecessary and wasn't happening. That's what they said. It wasn't happening. But the irony is, while the First Minister was saying all this, and many of them in Parliament who were in support of this nonsense, we are saying all this way back in December, the Scottish female prison was already housing 3 violent male criminals who claimed to be women. And one of those had repeatedly inflicted harm on female inmates. But the Scottish government still couldn't envision anyone ever gaming the system. It wasn't happening. That's what they said. It wasn't happening. That's what the first woman in the first video we looked at was saying. It's not happening. Trans women are not a threat. We've been told that even in the face of them posing real threats to actual women. But what else can you expect from people who can't tell us what a woman is? Alright guys, thank you so much for watching that video, and if you enjoyed the video, then hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to this channel and ring that notification bell. Also, as always, I want to know in the comments what you think about these videos. You know, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments, and until the next video, peace.